The air was heavy with the aroma of roasted grains and fruits in the bustling village of Rajagriha. Under a grand banyan tree, Buddha sat serenely, his calm presence commanding attention from villagers and disciples alike. As people carried baskets of food, their faces were filled with both joy and worry, a blend of emotions. Buddha's tranquil gaze swept over the crowd, observing their hurried movements and conversations about the approaching feast. Why do you gather so much? Spending your days in restless preparation? Buddha asked, his tone compassionate yet piercing. Ananda, his closest disciple, stepped forward and answered, Master, it is for survival and celebration. They labor to nourish their families. Buddha nodded, acknowledging Ananda's words but letting silence linger, allowing its weight to settle into their minds. This labor, Buddha said softly, is noble in essence, yet it often bears seeds of restlessness and unquenchable desire. The villagers paused, captivated by the gravity of his voice, seeking to understand the truth within his teachings. Consider a man who spends his days hoarding grain, his nights consumed by fears of thieves and loss, Buddha continued. His words painted a vivid picture of a merchant whose life was shackled by the cravings of endless accumulation. The merchant believes he is nourishing his life, Buddha said, but he feeds only the flames of his discontent. What is the source of this discontent? Sariputta asked, his curiosity mirroring that of the villagers surrounding them. Buddha's gaze fell upon Sariputta with warmth. As he responded, craving. It is the relentless hunger that knows no satisfaction. A young boy, sitting quietly beside his father, asked, Master, how do we stop craving? How can we find peace? Buddha smiled gently at the boy's innocence and replied, by observing the nature of craving, and seeing it for illusion. The boy frowned in confusion, and Buddha elaborated, like the mirage in the desert, it promises water but delivers none. He turned toward the villagers, their faces etched with anticipation, seeking the wisdom hidden within his parables. To observe is to awaken, Buddha said, to see the shadow of craving and recognize it as fleeting. He continued, imagine a fire burning in the hearth. It ceases when there is no wood to fuel it. Moggallana, reflecting on Buddha's metaphor, said, but Master, cravings seem to arise from the very essence of human nature. Buddha's gaze softened, his tone unyielding yet tender. Human nature contains both suffering and liberation, both desire and wisdom. The path to liberation begins, Buddha said, when you see that craving is a choice, not a destiny. A woman carrying a basket of fresh rice spoke. Master, does it mean we must renounce all joy, all celebration? Buddha's eyes twinkled as he answered, not renounce, but transform. Joy without attachment is freedom. Celebration without greed is harmony. She nodded thoughtfully, considering his words, her grip on the basket loosening as though unburdened by his teaching. Buddha then recounted an ancient tale, one of a farmer who worked tirelessly, neglecting his family and inner peace. The farmer's toil bore fruit, Buddha said, yet his heart remained barren, for he consumed life without mindfulness or reverence. His disciples listened intently, weaving the tale into their understanding of conscious consumption and mindful living. To consume is not wrong, Buddha explained, but to consume mindlessly is to sow seeds of suffering within ourselves. He turned to Ananda and said, you gather offerings of food daily, yet you honor each morsel with gratitude. Do you not? Ananda bowed and replied, Master, every grain represents the labor of many, the blessings of nature, and the essence of life. Buddha's smile deepened. Yes, Ananda, this is conscious consumption, the art of seeing what sustains us, beyond fleeting desires. The villagers began placing their baskets before Buddha, seeking his blessing, their hearts resonating with his profound wisdom. Buddha gestured to the baskets and spoke, These are gifts not to the body alone but to the soul's awakening. Each meal, each moment, offers us a choice, Buddha said, to live bound or to live free. The path lies here. The crowd grew silent, their hearts stirred by the truths revealed in Buddha's words. Reflecting deeply on their lives, Buddha concluded, conscious consumption begins with mindfulness. It blooms into wisdom, sustaining not just the body but the spirit within. As the feast began, the villagers partook with reverence. Imbued with newfound understanding, the teachings of Buddha forever etched in memory. That day, under the banyan tree, Buddha's voice became the turning point for many, the first step toward mindful liberation. Another day, another meal of rice and lentils was prepared in the monastery. The disciples gathered silently under the twilight sky. Buddha sat cross-legged, his calm presence filling the space. The bowl in his hands held rice, lentils, and greens. He raised the bowl, his eyes scanning the eager faces around him. This simple meal sustains the body, he began. Ananda leaned forward, listening intently. Master, does it sustain the spirit as well? Buddha's gaze softened, a faint smile forming. Indeed, Ananda, Buddha answered. This bowl holds more than food. It embodies the interconnected effort of countless beings. The disciples exchanged glances, their curiosity growing. Buddha continued, consider the farmer who tilled the earth. His sweat nurtured the seed that became this rice. Moggallana nodded thoughtfully. The effort is vast, Master, yet often unseen. How shall we honor these efforts with mindfulness? Buddha placed the bowl gently before him. To consume with mindfulness is to recognize the essence of what you receive, he replied. The wind carried the scent of earth and harvest. This meal is not merely sustenance, Buddha said. It is a convergence of life's forces. Rahula furrowed his brow, questioning. Master, can mindful consumption liberate us from cravings? Buddha's eyes glimmered with wisdom. Mindful consumption unveils the truth behind cravings. Buddha said, desires arise from ignorance of interconnectedness and impermanence. He gestured toward the bowl. Again, each grain of rice symbolizes the balance of effort, intention, and gratitude, he explained. Katyayana spoke hesitantly. Master, does simplicity in consumption reflect a path to liberation? Buddha nodded, affirming the disciples' insight. Simplicity honors interconnectedness, Buddha said. It frees the mind from unnecessary attachment and cultivates spiritual depth. The moonlight illuminated the scene. True nourishment lies beyond the physical realm, Buddha taught. It is a conscious embrace of life's rhythm. A bird chirped softly in the distance. This meal connects us to nature and each other, Buddha said. It sustains harmony. The disciples sat in silence, reflecting on his words. Buddha's voice carried a gentle resolve. Sujata once offered me a meal with pure intention, Buddha said. Her offering embodied simplicity and profound interconnectedness. He recounted the story, his tone reverent. It sustained my spirit, awakening clarity beyond physical sustenance. Buddha leaned forward, his gaze steady. Intentions shape the energy within what we consume, he taught. Nanda spoke cautiously. Master, can mindfulness transform even indulgence into balance? Buddha's gaze shifted toward him. Mindfulness transforms excess into gratitude, Buddha said. It reveals the transient nature of satisfaction and leads to balance. The gentle breeze rustled leaves above. Buddha gestured to the sky. Even the air we breathe is a gift, he said. This air sustains us, Buddha explained. Our consumption is not merely physical. It reflects life's rhythm and interconnected existence. His voice softened. In simplicity lies wisdom, and within wisdom lies freedom, Buddha said. The disciples studied their bowls with renewed perception. Buddha's words carried weight beyond the evening meal. To consume with mindfulness, Buddha began. is to embrace impermanence without clinging. Freeing the mind from cravings, he gestured to the disciples. Observe the intricacy of life within each bite, Buddha said. It unveils life's profound truth. The disciples closed their eyes momentarily, embracing the serenity of the moment. Buddha's teachings resonated deeply. A glimmer of gratitude filled the disciples' hearts. Buddha's guidance illuminated the deeper meaning behind mindful consumption. As the meal concluded, Buddha bowed slightly toward the disciples. This bowl carries lessons transcending sustenance, Buddha said. The disciples reciprocated the gesture. Feeling humbled, Buddha's teachings on mindful consumption echoed in their spirits. The night deepened around the monastery. Buddha gazed upward, his expression unwavering. Mindfulness nurtures liberation, Buddha said. Consuming consciously embodies interconnectedness, gratitude, and the essence of life's rhythm. The teachings lingered in the hearts of the disciples, guiding their understanding of conscious consumption. Another day, another sunrise bathed the monastery in golden light. Maya gazed at the pebble in her hand one last time before placing it on the ground. A gesture of release and gratitude, she left the gathering with a lighter heart, the lessons of the Buddha guiding her as the stars began to shine. His voice emerged, steady and deliberate. Life unfolds like the rising sun. The disciples listened intently as he gestured towards the vast sky. Why do rivers flow, seasons change, and the sun rise? Buddha asked. Rahula stepped forward thoughtfully. Kumara, a young potter, approached the Buddha with hesitant steps and eyes heavy with worry. Blessed One, Kumara began, his voice quivering. I am tormented by the fear of losing what I have worked so hard to create. Indeed, Rahula, and we too are part of this infinite rhythm, interwoven with the universe. The sound of flowing water reached their ears. Kumara, he said gently, what is it that you fear losing? And what power does this fear hold over your mind? I fear losing my possessions, my craft, and the respect I have earned, Kumara replied, his voice filled with anguish. This fear consumes my days and robs me of peace, leaving me restless and sleepless. The river consumes sunlight, earth, and rain, Buddha continued. Yet it does not hoard. It moves freely, sustaining life. Ananda approached respectfully. Master, is the flow of nature a teaching of conscious consumption? He asked. Buddha placed a hand on Ananda's shoulder. Nature reveals balance, harmony, and interconnectedness, which are the foundation of conscious consumption, he explained. The disciples watched as a flower fell into the river. Buddha gestured towards it, his voice steady. The flower blooms, shares fragrance, and returns to the earth, Buddha said. It teaches us to consume without greed. Moggallana spoke softly. Master, how can humans consume without attachment? Buddha turned to him, his eyes gentle. Consume with awareness and gratitude, Buddha answered. Recognize impermanence, and embrace the abundance of each moment without clinging. The wind carried the scent of blossoms through the air. Gratitude transforms consumption into a sacred act, Buddha said. Conscious consumption begins when desires no longer enslave the mind, Buddha continued. This is the path to liberation. Sariputta gestured toward the lush grove. Master, does nature reflect the infinite feast of life? He asked. Buddha smiled softly. Indeed, Sariputta. The Buddha nodded, his presence radiating a quiet wisdom that seemed to embrace all who listened. FOMO arises from attachment. Kumara, he said. Buddha's voice carried the weight of universal truth. Life's feast is not bound by possessions or consumption, Buddha said. It is an endless celebration of interconnected existence. A bird took flight above them. Buddha raised a hand toward the sky. Even the air we breathe is a gift, he said. This air sustains us, Buddha continued. Its abundance mirrors the generosity of nature, which we must honor. Katyayana questioned hesitantly, "Master, can abundance exist without indulgence?" Buddha turned to him, his expression thoughtful. "Abundance flourishes within balance," Buddha answered. "Mindfulness transforms indulgence into a deeper appreciation of life's offerings." A leaf floated to the ground near them. Buddha gestured toward it. "Even decay sustains new growth," he said. "Decay reminds us of life's impermanence," Buddha taught. "It allows us to consume consciously." Embracing the rhythms of existence, the disciples studied the ground, contemplating the profound nature of decay. Buddha's teachings resonated deeply. He recounted the story of Kissagatami. Kissagatami learned to cherish life beyond possession or loss, Buddha said. Kissagatami embraced gratitude and awareness, Buddha continued. Through her journey, she partook of the infinite feast of life. The sun climbed higher above the horizon. Buddha's voice grew steady, carrying wisdom through the air. Consume consciously, without greed or attachment, Buddha taught. The stars above shimmered like countless eyes, witnessing the unfolding of wisdom and the liberation of a soul from fear. The Buddha's teachings rippled through the hearts of his disciples, a wave of understanding that transcended time and space. Buddha's teachings illuminated the essence of interconnected existence. As the day progressed, Buddha gestured to the blooming flowers. "These flowers consume sunlight, water, and earth," he said, "yet they do not hoard," Buddha continued. "They bloom, share beauty, and return to the soil without reluctance." Ananda knelt before Buddha. "Master, how can humans reflect the flower's balance?" he asked. "Consume and share with open hearts," Buddha answered. "Let go when the time comes." Freeing oneself from attachment, the disciples embraced his wisdom, feeling a profound connection to the teachings. Buddha's guidance carried clarity. "Conscious consumption liberates the mind," Buddha said. "It unveils interconnectedness, gratitude, and harmony with existence." The teachings lingered in their spirits. Buddha gazed toward the sky, his expression unwavering. "Life's rhythm offers abundance within each moment," Buddha said. "To consume with awareness is to honor life's infinite feast." As evening approached, the disciples reflected in silence, absorbing Buddha's teachings. His words carried them into newfound understanding. Thank you for watching. Buddha's teachings are always with you. Subscribe to our channel and we will see you in the next video.